Hello. Welcome to the video lecture on social media goals and strategies, facilitated by Ed Grahusky for the social media marketing class at Gateway Technical College. When we first start looking at developing our goals, we're really building, the reason why we're doing these goals is to build our social media marketing plan. And so when we look at the marketing plan, we've got two things that we're going to identify here. And the first one is that these goals in this marketing plan should detail the organization's social media goals and the actions that they're going to have to take necessary to achieve them. Some of the mistakes people look at, especially with social media, is and social networking sites. First thing we need to identify is that there is a difference between social media and social networking. And so a lot of times when you say social media, a lot of people think of like Facebook. And social media is significantly larger than this idea of Facebook. And so the first thing that we need to identify is what social media avenues are we going to be taking, and once we identify that, what's our frequency and range that we're going to use in that area. The same type of thing you would do with a media plan, a promotional plan when you're identifying what your TV advertising, your radio advertising, any of your media advertising is going to be. The challenge that faces a lot of marketing people is, how do we identify if social media is being successful for us or not? We all do it a lot of times because it's free, and that is something we'll talk about later on in the slides. Is social media, is it really free or not? And what are the costs involved with it? The second point here on this slide is probably the most important point for you to take with you really throughout the entire class, and identifies a mistake that a lot of companies make, and that is, it's got to be integrated with the marketing goals and objectives of the organization. If we do not intertwine our social media efforts with our other traditional marketing, then it's like two trains going in a separate direction. We're really missing an opportunity to have that branded message go across our entire organization. When we talk about the social media planning cycle, first thing we need to identify is listening. Listening to our customers. What are they saying about us? What social media avenues are they using? Are we picking the same social media sites that our customers are going towards? Set in our goals. What do we want to see happen from our social media activity? Are we trying to increase brand awareness? Are we trying to increase sales? What is it a revenue piece? What is it exactly we are trying to achieve? And so by defining these individual strategies, we can identify what tools we're going to be using. And part of identifying those tools that we're going to be using is identifying who is the target audience. After we select those tools, then we need to look at implementing our strategic plan. And a lot of times people, when they're developing marketing plans or they're developing any type of strategic planning cycle, they get to the implementation stage, and that's where they kind of stop. And so it's important for us to look and identify and monitor our results. Are they above or below where we're expecting them to be at? And so that evaluation key is important, because a lot of times we'll set even our own personal goals. A mistake that we make is we'll say, all right, for my New Year's resolution, I want to lose 50 pounds. And unfortunately, how do we evaluate that goal? We go all the way down to December 31st, right? And look at, okay, plus or minus, am I plus or minus 50 pounds? Well, if I'm looking at December 31st and I've only lost 3 pounds, I'm 47 pounds short, I'm not going to be able to enact any change in that day to get that 47 pounds lost. And so it's key for us to identify benchmarks that we want to meet. And so a lot of times, even when I'm talking about people about individual goals, hey, you want to lose 50 pounds, all right, let's identify, hey, I want to lose 5 pounds a month. check that every single month. Where am I on that 5 pound a month goal? If I am slipping below that goal that I want to make, now I have time to make modifications, make changes, because I've been monitoring my results. I can make those changes where it's not going to be that big of a situation, where I can start to monitor, make changes, and meet that goal at the end of that period of time that I had established. So when we talk about listening and observing with our customers, the things that we're going to be paying attention to is, first of all, what are the conversations about our actual brand? What are people talking about our brand? How are they talking about it? Conversations about our competition. What are our customers or people saying about the competition? Conversations about the industry as a whole. Conversations about inside the community, meaning from your customers. What are they talking about? What type of language are they using? Meaning, what are their keywords? What are they seeing as the changes? What type are they? High tech savvy? Are they lower tech savvy? What's the speak of the community? And then really looking at conversations across the multiple social media channels. And so what I mean by that is, now we've got software out there that is actually can monitor the conversations on the different social media channels, meaning what social media tools or channels are my customers using? What are they saying about us in those different channels? So when we talk about what goals should we be setting, some of the typical social media goals are going to be very consistent to marketing goals that you would set for your organization. Building a brand, increasing customer satisfaction, driving word-of-mouth recommendations, producing new product ideas, generating leads, handling crisis management. Social media has really now taken on a new face when a company is dealing with some crisis. BP, when they had the oil spill, really hit social media to tie into their entire crisis management program. Integration of social media with your traditional marketing pieces, and the idea of SEO. SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization, meaning when someone types in the name of my company, how quickly does my company come up? And so when we're talking about creating strategy development for social media, we use what we call the 8 C's of strategic planning. And so we categorize, we comprehend, we converse, we collaborate, we contribute, we connect, we develop a community, and ultimately we convert people from interaction with social media to customers. And that is the $1 million question. How do we do that? And a lot of companies don't successfully manage that piece. Oh yeah, we got lots of likes on Facebook. All right? How does that translate to dollars? You might tell me, you have 50,000 likes. 50,000 likes means nothing to me. Because I want to know, for that 50,000 likes, what is the dollars? What's the dollars I'm getting back from those likes? Are they coming into the store? How am I developing a relationship with my customer that is bringing them into the door? If I have a website, if it's a face-to-face location, whatever it might be, how is that important to my business, and how is that bringing in dollars? So when we talk about different mistakes that people make in the area of social media, number one is companies' ability, or actually really as a mistake, their inability to make a call to action without making the interaction look like a sales call. And so a lot of times, if we get too pushy with a push, we get pushback from the customer. The customer sees that they're quote unquote being sold something, and we kind of back off from that. Another problem that we run into is no integrated campaign. Oh, well, let me put something today, and maybe it'll be 2 or 3 weeks till I post something else. All your marketing activities have got to work together to create a branded message. It's more synergistic to do it that way. Otherwise, it's just a little piece here, a little piece there, and it doesn't bring together the connected message that your marketing department needs to roll out. I really look back, and I was always amazed at my grandpa, because I was amazed by all the things that he saw happen in his life. The car, the Model T, automobiles, highways, just how appliances had changed, everything. I mean, he saw so many different things. And really the thing that I'm able to witness is this change of how technology has changed the marketplace. And one of the things that I look at is I compare social media today to websites in the mid-90s. 1995, 96, that's when people started saying, oh, we can do websites. And what you would see is you'd have companies have a website. And I'd ask them, well, why do you have a website? And the response was, because everyone's got one. And then you'd go back to the website 2 or 3 years later and realize they hadn't updated in 2 or 3 years. Well, the website technology piece has changed. Both the technology that we use in them, how they're being used. You know, they're really, when they first started off, was more of an electronic brochure, for lack of a better term. And now where they say, oh, maybe we could sell stuff on it. That'd be a great idea. And so a lot of companies starting off, when this thing first started going, they knew they needed to be on there, but they didn't know why. And so they threw a page up there, and they didn't really do much with it. It wasn't really interactive with the customer, nor was it tied into their other marketing platforms. Well, social media is kind of taking over that right now. People, businesses have Facebook. Well, we like us on Facebook. And that's about all they do with Facebook. Just, well, like us. All right? Well, what are you doing on Facebook? How many times are you posting? What are you posting? Are you posting information that's relevant to the customer? Or are you posting too much stuff where the customer is unliking you or ignoring your posts because of it? And so there's a lot of companies that say, oh, we're on Facebook. And they're on Facebook because, well, everybody's on Facebook. You may be losing money, or it may not be effective for you, even though it's free, if you're not spending the time to make that commitment. And so when people say Facebook is free, it's really not. And so you got to remember that old saying, you get what you pay for. And even though there's not a cost for you to say, I have a Facebook page, right? It might cost you to advertise on Facebook, but it's going to cost you a time commitment. Time is money to make regular posts. Are you doing coupons? How are you interacting? Because the way you set up your Facebook and your social media activities determine how successful they're going to be for you. And so if you don't do it in a way where you're developing a relationship or rapport with your customer that is going to get them to trust you more, because trust is sales. Bottom line, if a customer trusts you and they believe what you have to say, that is going to translate to sales. If they don't believe what you're trying to say, they're not going to spend money with you. And so are you developing that relationship with that customer to turn them from a like to dollars? And that is the ultimate challenge that marketers are facing right now, is how do I take this thing, this Facebook thing, because it's great, it's free, it's wonderful. How do I take this and I turn that into dollars? And so hopefully we'll give you some tools and techniques in this class that are really going to identify what are the things I need to do to turn those customers over.